Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to PBTV. Well, it's finally here, so we are very graciously been delivered the Krytac P90 after a very, very, very long wait. These have been on the way to us since before Christmas, so that's mainly the reason why there's been a little bit of a delay with them. Is these shipped before the cut-off at the beginning of January with the Brexit paperwork, so these were on the way without that paperwork and then didn't get delivered in time, so then there was a few problems, but they are here now. So any questions that you have on it, any burning information that you really want to know about, whether or not it's going to fit your game style, what it can do, how it sits as an SMG platform in Airsoft, if there's any specific feature on a P90 that you want to find out whether or not this has, please drop it down below. We will flash it up on screen and get to you as quickly as possible. If not, I will start at the front and work our way back and cover everything that we know about this thing. First thing that we must state off the bat that obviously now these are no longer a pre-order item. They are with us, so unfortunately they have gone up a little bit. So the pre-order deal has now ended, but anyone that has pre-ordered one due to the delay, if you have ordered one with us, there is a little gift in the box for you when you arrive. When it arrives with you as a apology from us for the delay. So if you have pre-ordered one, we are extremely sorry that it has taken so long. But down to the P90. As always with AEGs, on the front end, it does have the 14mm counterclockwise thread, so they've kept it standard. Very, very easy to get any accessory that you want to sit on the front of it. What I will note, you're not going to be able to see it, but about halfway up, very easy to get to. They've not put it right at the back to make it awkward, but about halfway up, there is a grub screw. Make sure that is fully removed before you take this off. Otherwise, you are going to damage the threads, and then you're not going to be able to fit anything on it, and you'll be even more upset that your platform has turned up late and is then useless for accessories, etc. So you'll be able to fit any front device that you want on this, Spitfire, tracer units, anything like that. And it is still going to be an extremely short, stubby platform that is just going to absolutely decimate most CQB sites. How compact this thing is, you might as well just be running around with finger guns, how short this thing is once it's shouldered. You're not going to get a CQB platform shorter than this, really, that I can see. How does it compare to the TM, CYMA, and JG versions? Off the bat, I do believe the actual polymer build and the sort of general feel of it, it feels a much more solid piece of gear. Obviously, the metal rails and bits like that are going to be very, very similar. There are some features internally that are better. For example, I'll come on to it now because it is one of the main features, is the magazine. You can see the feed hole there, and there's a little extra hole there. So on the bottom of the mag, there's a little button here. So as far as I'm aware, this is the first P90 that's been built that has a bolt stop system. The magazine is a 200 round mid cap / high cap, depending how you're wording it. But yes, it is filled with a speed loader, so we're calling it a mid cap, but it is a 200 round magazine. The little switch at the bottom, if you pull that across, it blocks it off. You have to do that before you put BBs in it, and it locks it to 50. So if you wanted to run real cap games, wanting to run something a little bit different, or if you go to an event like a Milsim or a Battle Sim that limits your mid caps to under 100 rounds, say, or under 120 rounds, it means that these aren't useless because they are 200 rounds. So once this is empty, that button pops out and presses a button in there, which means it will be able to fire. Very, very cool. So currently, in its current position, now that has dropped down, it will shut the platform down and it will not fire at all. Coming onto the fire system, so currently we are in safe. If I flick it round to semi there, coming back, it is in a semi-auto function. You will feel that the trigger sort of stops against a bit of a back wall. Flicking it round to full auto, the trigger will pull further back. So it is a two-stage trigger. So flicking it onto auto doesn't electronically change anything. It just allows the trigger to travel further back, meaning that you can then full auto. So it will be semi-auto, semi-auto, and then when you go into full auto, it will fire a single shot, and then you pull again, and it will go into full auto. So doing a big long pull, it does full auto. We've tested this plenty, and we I think it's going to be very, very, very fun. Really, really cool. Even outdoors, I think this is going to be absolutely fine and perform extremely well. Again, compare it to them other ones. You have the Krytac gearbox and the Krytac's quality build, which again, Krytac have just been proven. They are semi-standard AEGs, but again, it is fused. It's got the inline MOSFET that Krytac use that make them very, very reliable and very, very consistent. Even in a short barrel like this, obviously you saw where the feed tube is, so you can imagine that the barrel isn't this long. So a lot of people look at these and think they've only got a 100mm barrel. Oh, excuse me. There's a 247mm inner barrel in this, so it is a decent size. If you want to increase that more, you could put a device on the front and stretch it out 300mm, 320, anything like that, and then you're going to get a bit more range and a bit more consistency. So it is going to be very, very cool. Andrew, what sort of FPS do you get out of the box? So you will notice when they come, they will have a sticker that says 1.52 joules. Please ignore that. So these are being tested, and we have had them through the chrono at 335 FPS. Again, with that being the case, we cannot recommend an 11.1. With the UK power limits and the possibility of pre-engagement, please stick to 7.4. These things are incredible on a 7.4 anyway. The rate of fire is really nice, the trigger response is really nice, and the sort of pullback on full auto to get that second stage trigger. It's very sort of ergonomic and very, very easy to sort of handle. You will get used to it if you've not had a two-stage trigger before, but they are very, very, very cool. Hop. So normally with ARs and things like that, you pull the slide back and it releases a door or anything, you find it like that. People that haven't had a P90 yet, this is going to be really awkward to show on camera. You can see the square down here. This is where your hop is. There's a little door that slides backwards and forwards, but that is where your hop is. There is a rotary style hop in there. Very, very easy to get to. It is a very wide window, so it's very, very easy to adjust. Once you've adjusted it, slide the door shut so you're not going to get any detritus or dirt or anything in there, and you are good to go. Again, Krytacs have been very, very good with hop systems and sort of reliability and consistency. 2.5s, 2.8s are going to be absolutely awesome on this. If you stick into sort of semi-auto, you might be able to squeeze 3s out of it, but with it being an SMG and just a sort of standard AEG, really, I'd stick to the 2.8s, and you're going to have a lot of fun with it. On the top, we have got a couple of rail systems. There's none on the right-hand side, but you can swap. There's a single piece on the left here with 2 Allen keys. So if you want to take that out and put it on the left, right-hand side, you can do. There's 2 little holes there that fits in. It is a little bit asymmetric. So on this side, there isn't a hole. There is simply a screw, and then there's a big hole here. This is actually how you adjust your sort of angle and everything like that. There is a pin sight in there, and there is an iron sight viewport at the back. But going through there's another Allen key through there, and it allows you to slightly adjust the rail system and just give you a bit of a better sort of zero capability when it comes to dot sights. Again, with dot sight and things like that, make sure if you are grabbing hold of something, get a low-mounted T1 or a doctor sight or something like that, because it is already quite a large bore axis on this. So if you put a T1 on this with a high sight, your T1's going to be up here, and it's going to be absolutely miles off. Especially for CQB, you want to try and get it as close to that as possible. So a little doctor sight is going to be really, really good. And again, with these rail systems, flip it to the other side, you'll be able to put a torch on there, laser system, all that good stuff, and definitely have some serious, serious fun with this in a CQB environment. As you can see with the sort of handle and sort of the P90 style system, the idea is you have a grip at the back and you already have a foregrip and a little hand stop at the front. So it is very, very comfy. To be honest, it's not my cup of tea, but the tech and the performance of putting this through a chrono and seeing how it shoots, I do actually want to put one of these on a field and just see if it's a bit more to my style. I'm not usually a fan of them, but after shooting this, I am a little bit more keen to try one out. Coming to the back end, very, very easy to change the battery. Simply push down on the back and the back buttstock comes off, and you will find yourself a Dean's connector. There is a very, very large battery compartment up at the top, either a block or a quite a large stick battery, 1450 or something like that, maybe even something slightly larger. We will definitely put a recommendation on the description. So again, very, very easy. You could even change these in the field. There's not many platforms that I recommend doing that with, but because it is quite quick to do, I definitely carry a couple of batteries in a backpack or something. It means you can stay out in the field longer and get a few more rounds down range. But if there's any other questions, please ask them. I can cover anything that you want, but I am very, very impressed with these as they have landed. Would you recommend this as a starter gun? My thing with starter guns, if you like the look of it, it's probably a really good starter gun. But the bonus of this, it is a really, really good platform. It's going to be very, very reliable over a long period of time. Krytac have proven themselves to be very, very consistent and very, very reliable over a period of time. It's not going to fall apart on you in 6 to 12 months. This is potentially a few years life in this thing, even without actually doing anything to it. So if you do like the look of a P90, definitely pick one up as a starter gun. You are not going to be disappointed. And you have the bonus of it being very, very good for CQB, woodland, outdoors, urban, everything like that. So it gives you a very good option for sites that you travel to. Some people, if they've got big ARs or snipers or anything like that, it limits them to not go to CQB or anything like that. But these are very, very cool. Think I'll stick to the JG one at least until I have my support weapon and possibly some sort of a launcher. Running around with a support weapon and one of these, I mean, these do have a little bit of weight behind them, so running a support weapon and one of these is going to be a bit of a overkill, I believe. But if you're running a sniper or a DMR, these would make an absolutely excellent backup or a secondary. If someone comes in that engagement range, you can get very, very cool sort of slip style slings that go through the back here and clamp on the back. And again, you could just have this as a concealed down the side. Do it whatever you're doing with your sniper or your DMR. Someone comes close, flick this onto the fun switch and make sure they don't get any closer. You will definitely have some fun with it. And again, with that, you're not really going to need optics or anything too serious. You do have the iron sight style system and you've got 200 rounds, so you could use this very much as a bit of a panic button. But if that's everything, I think we have covered a hell of a lot here. Andrew, can you recommend a red dot off your website that's available? Thanks. If you're meaning specifically for this, any of the Vector Optics red dots, there's the Maverick Gen 2, the Maverick Mill, or any of the Doctor style sights like the Frenzies. All of them are either Doctor, sort of very small red dot, almost pistol style ones. So the Vector Optics Frenzy will sit perfectly on here and look very, very neat. The Mavericks do come with low mounts, so they're more of a T1 style sight, and again, you can move them around and get a very, very good cheat weld and a very, very good clean sight down. So look at either the Vector Optics Maverick or the Vector Optics Frenzy. Each one of them has a range of different styles, whether or not it's side turn on with different brightness settings, or the Frenzies are operated via light sensitivity, so it will change as you're cutting around buildings and everything. So when it gets bright, it shuts down a little bit. When it gets dark, it builds up a little bit. Very, very cool and very, very useful. Some V2 parts does fit in the gearbox. So this is a version 6 gearbox. What that means is the shape. The gearbox externally is a version 6, but internally I do believe that it is mostly, if not all, version 2. So the gears, the piston, spring guide, things like that are all version 2. The only thing that aren't going to fit, off the top of my head, I will speak to the workshop and get some ideas of what would fit our MOSFET. So a version 2 MOSFET, like the Gate Titan or anything like that, don't think they're going to fit. You will have to do an inline, something like a Warfet or something like that, I think they're called. But there are electronics and stuff that you can fit to this. Again, speak to our workshop, send them an email, or I will try and get a little bit of a spiel of what is compatible with it. Again, this thing is an absolute savage beast as it is, and I've always recommend people play with it a couple of times, or anything that you're wanting to spruce up a little bit. Play with it and then see what you want to improve, whether or not it's range, accuracy, FPS, consistency, everything like that, because you're not going to be able to do everything, because once one goes up, the other might tailor off. For example, if you're wanting a high rate of fire, you're not going to get range and accuracy out of it. And again, if you're wanting range and accuracy, you're going to have to sort of maybe dial back the rate of fire a little bit. Is she balanced? She's not really big enough to be off-balanced anywhere. But again, the front end here is there's not much at the front here apart from the rails. The entire gearbox is sat back here, so a lot of the weight does sit at the back, so you can see it even just balancing off there. Again, you're holding it in the center, and there's very little weight to this that you're going to notice. And again, once it's shouldered, you're going to absolutely cleave through CQB buildings, etc. Will it work with the existing Stanag adapters? Good question. I believe it will. I will definitely test it specifically afterwards. They have made these mags 200 rounds and flippable to 50, but again, the mags are on the way. We had some, but they have all gone. So I will double check the compatibility with other ones, and I know some people will want a high cap with the sort of side mounted, the autofill and everything like that. So I'll double check what works. Again, you will lose the bolt stop system, but if you're running the high cap, you're not really bothered about that. If you're wanting this as a backup, you want to stick as many BBs in it as possible, and I totally get that. Just run spray and get as many BBs out of it as possible, and you are going to have a chunk of fun. But again, sorry for anyone that ordered this. These have been on the way for many, many months, way before Christmas. Those that did pre-order, there is a small gift in the box for you as an apology from ourselves, but they are here now, and we do have more coming, so we will have these for a long, long time, hopefully. If you want one, grab one. They are absolutely incredible, very, very impressed with them, and I'm not a P90 fan, so that does say a lot. It's the sort of aesthetic of it, but as a performance and the sort of response, the trigger response, the rate of fire, the build quality, the mag having the bolt stop is always a boost bonus, but having 200 rounds swappable to 50, very, very cool. But this has been the Krytac P90. They are finally here, and we are very, very impressed with them. So if we have missed your question, or if it's just sped past in the chat, by all means, drop us a message on Instagram. We'll try and get back to you as quickly as possible if there is some information that you want, whether or not it's about this or anything else. But I am not here next week, so I'm having a week off, mainly for the Super Bowl and various other things. So I will leave you in the very capable hands of Pete. He will be here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at about between 3 and 4 p.m. So make sure you've got the bell on or notifications on Facebook, and you will, if we do slightly change the times, you will get the notification. But if that's everything, I'll see you in just over a week. In a bit.